there's certainly a need for a percentage of the production in Australia to be going outside of the country. Currently, with the thanks to the Future Orchards project, everyone in Australia is increasing their average production per hectare. Everyone's increasing their pack outs. So the net result of that, if no orchards go, is that we're producing a lot more first grade fruit. Demand in Australia's not increasing. If anything, it's maybe even slightly reducing. So I think all of us have an obligation to be exploring every opportunity we can to get as much fruit out of the country as possible to try and maintain a viable return from the domestic market, so that supply is not greater than demand domestically. Tasmania's historically was set up to export apples counter-seasonally into the Northern Hemisphere. So the biggest year of exports out of Tasmania was in the mid-1960s, when there were 6.5 million cartons of apples exported mostly to Europe and North America. Since then the industry's been through a lot of fluctuations and probably got down to the point that in about 2010 virtually the exports had dropped to absolutely nothing. So now it's slowly recovering, and in 2016 we'll ship maybe 15 to 20 containers of export, but it's not that long ago that's what we used to do every 2 or 3 weeks.
The challenge is what excites me the most about export. It's difficult for us we don't get a lot of demand, I guess, overseas for our apples. So when an opportunity comes along, or when I'm able to create an opportunity, I really enjoy that challenge of trying to make it work. Recently we sent some apples to a retailer in the Middle East, and I went across to see our apples there on the shelves, and they looked absolutely fantastic on display. It was a real thrill to see them there. And I actually was watching one lady in particular purchase our apples, and she was really excited to find out that we had grown them and that I was there, and so that was a really memorable experience for me. It's far less daunting than it might seem, but definitely do your homework. You'll need to align yourself with a good customer. You'll need to understand the requirements that are involved in the country you intend to export to. Really understand what your customers' expectations would be in terms of quality. So I guess the best advice I would give is to make sure you do your homework.
I'll take the opportunity to thank APAL for their assistance. We've probably had 2 things that have helped us to establish some of the export markets for apples that we have over the last few years. Primarily, most of the customers we're supplying, we've already been doing cherry business with them, so that's been of great assistance, and as has some of the introductions that have come from APAL. So the effort that APAL have been making over recent years to encourage both Australian producers to export but overseas customers to purchase Australian product, it's certainly helped us with some introductions that there's some business flowing as a result of it.